students. In the last class, we started with the second part of the third chapter, that is classification and tabulation, and we have seen what is tabulation as well as parts of table, and we have also seen the general format of table. Now in this class, we are going to discuss about rules or requisites of tabulation. See, a good statistical table is not only grouping of data in rows and columns, but also it summarizes the data in a easy as well as understandable form. See, there are no hard and fast rule for tabulation, but in general there are few points that you have to keep in mind while framing the table or in tabulation. So the first rules or requisites of tabulation is size. See, whenever you draw the table's size should be as per or in accordance with the size of the paper. Here, in order to adjust the table with the size of the paper, either you can increase the row numbers and you can reduce the columns, because as you all know, the paper's length will be there but width is not that much. So if you draw more columns, you can't complete a single table in one paper. So instead of drawing more columns, you can draw more rows in a table. So that is the first requisite or first rule that you have to follow while framing the table or in tabulation. Secondly, and while framing the table, you have to draw the table in such a way that sufficient space must be provided in each cell to make any additions or to make any new entries in that cell. So sufficient space should be provided in each cell. Next, the second rule of tabulation is logical order. See, when you draw the columns and rows must be arranged in a logical order. That is, it may be according to alphabetical order or geographical order, or it may be according to chronological order. So, logical order must be maintained while tabulation. Next, the third one is table should not be overloaded. Should not be overloaded. Sometimes what happens is there will be huge data and you have to present that data in a table. Suppose if you can't present entire data in a single table, you can draw two or more table. But it should not be like everything you are going to insert in a single table, which may cause overloaded, or the table may be overloaded. Because of that, we can't understand easily what is presented in the table. So in order to avoid the confusion because of overloadness, what you can do is you can prepare more than one table instead of drawing one single table. So while drawing the table should not be overloaded. Next, fourth point is table should be complete in all respect. Whenever you draw the table should be complete. Whatever I have told, that parts of the table in the previous class, all the parts you have to draw, and you have to see to it that each and every part you have drawn and it is complete in all respect. There should not be any incompleteness in the table. So that is the fourth rule or requisite of tabulation. Next, fifth one is no cell should be left blank. No cell should be left blank. For example, if you have drawn a table with two columns and 3 rows, that is men, women, and here you are going to write the occupation, that is banker, officer and teacher. This is occupation and this is sex. According to sex, you have divided the data. And whenever you have drawn this table, you will write how many bankers are male and how many are female or women. Next, in officer, all are men. There are no women. Next, in teacher, there are 10 men and 20 women. So like this you have written. But one cell we have left blank. But this, even if there are no entries to be made in this cell, you you should not leave this cell blank. That is the fifth rule. That is, no cell should be left blank. Instead of leaving it blank, either you can put it as dash, because it should show that nothing will be recorded in that cell, or you can write it as NA, not available. NA means not available. Either you have to put dash or you have to write it as not available in that cell. You should never keep the cell blank. Next, sixth rule is miscellaneous column must be provided. Miscellaneous column must be provided. That means after entering all the data in a body of the table, you have to provide one more column for miscellaneous column, where you can enter total, or you can enter the percentage, or you can enter the ratios. So miscellaneous column should be provided in the table. Next rule is ditto marks should not be used. Ditto should not be used. See, you should not use this ditto sign while drawing the table. Why? Because it may create confusion. Ditto implies similar to the previous one. For example, here if I am writing ditto, it means either it may give a meaning that here we can write it as 40. We can consider that 40 is repeated. That's why we have to ditto. Column may be repeated. Or it also means that 50 is repeated. So we will be in a confusion that whether column value is repeated or row value is repeated. That's why whenever the similar value comes, you should never use this ditto signs. You should write the values only. For example, if 40, then 40 only you should write. You should not write ditto, because it may create a confusion regarding whether column value is repeated or row value is repeated. So ditto sign should not be used. Next, footnote. About this I have discussed in parts of table itself. Where this footnote is written after the body, after the table, that is below the table. Why you are writing this footnote? Footnote is written either to write the omitted value, whichever, if you have omitted anything, or if you want to make any additions, or if you want to write any remarks, that you can write it in footnote. So while drawing the table, you should see to it that you are going to write footnote after drawing the table. Next, lastly, source. This is also the part of the table where you are going to write from which source you have obtained the data, whichever is presented in the table, from where you have collected that data. For easy reference for the reader, you can write the source below the table, footnote and source. In footnotes, you are going to write the remarks, abbreviations or omissions and additions, whereas in source, you are going to write from where you have collected this data, or from where you have obtained that data. So these are the general rules or requisites of tabulation. There is no hard and fast rule stating that you have to follow all these rules, but these are the general rules, so that the table looks attractive and it is easy to understand. Now we will see the types of table. See how we have seen the types of classification. Similarly, there are majorly three types of table. First one is simple or one-way table. Simple or one-way table. Secondly, two-way table. of people of a locality you are going to present. Then it will be occupation. Next, this is the first column. Next, gender. On the basis of gender, we are going to divide it as male and female. Occupation: bankers, officers, teachers, and doctors. And in gender, male and female. So here you have presented two characteristics in a table. One is first characteristic is occupation and the second character is gender, that is male and female. So this table is an example for two-way table. Next, the third type of the table is manifold table. So manifold table means if you are going to present more than two characteristics in a table, then it is called as manifold table. If a table contains two or more than two characteristics, then it is called as manifold table. For example, if you are going to present the occupation, gender as well as marital status of a particular people of a particular locality, then it is called as manifold classification. See, occupation. Next, we are going to show the gender as male and female. Next, in male and female again you are going to show, consider next characteristic, that is marital status, that is married and unmarried. Here also in female, married, unmarried. And in occupation you are going to present it as bankers, officers, teachers, and doctors. So here you can see that three characteristics are used. One is occupation, second one is gender, and third one is marital status. So if you are going to present more than two characteristics in a table, then it is called as manifold table. So these are the example for one-way or simple table, next two-way table and manifold table. Now we will solve few problems under tabulation. How to frame a table. The question is, prepare a blank table to show the distribution of population of a village according to population of a village according to first characteristic is sex, that is men and women. Next characteristic is age, in that below 18 years secondly 18 to 30 years and 30 years and above. Next, the third characteristic given is marital status. In marital status, married not simple or two-way table. It is manifold table because more than two characteristics are considered. First characteristic is sex, second one is age, and third one is marital status. So while drawing the table, you have to keep in mind, first of all, you have to write the title for the table. That is, I'll write the title blank table in the solution. Blank table. What it shows? Showing the distribution of population of village, according to what? According to three characteristics. According to first characteristic is sex, so write it sex. Next characteristic is age, and third one is marital status. So these are the three characteristics that you are going to present in a blank table. So after writing the table heading or title for the table, you are going to draw the body. First of all, you should see which characteristic you are going to present in row and which characteristics you are going to present in column. First of all, we will present this age in row and sex in column as well as marital status in column. So first, age in years. Next, after writing age in years, you are going to present the sex, that is men and women. This is the second characteristic that we have shown. Now, third characteristic is marital status. That marital status also we will show it in column, that is here in men, married, next unmarried, total, next again married in women, married, unmarried and total. Like this, you are going to present three characteristics in a single table. One characteristic you are going to present it as row, and other two characteristics you can present it in column. That is men and women, that is sex we have shown in column. Next, age groups, that we are going to show it in row, whereas marital status again we are going to show it in column. Now I will write the age group. Age groups are, we are going to write it in row. So write it here below 18, next 18 to 30, lastly 30 and above. Last row should be total. Now, after drawing this table, there will be one more miscellaneous column, that is total column. Here in row we have considered total. Now in column also we have to consider the total. So like this you are going to frame a blank table. You are not going to insert any values in the body of the table because you are asked to prepare a blank table where the body of the table will be blank. You are not going to add any values in the cells. So it is a blank table which shows the distribution of population of a village on the basis of sex, age as well as marital status. I have written the age groups here in row and men and women in column as well as marital status also I have shown in column. So this is the blank table